Hello, my name is Cindy, and I am making this video today to talk about my experience so far doing the Metabolic Balance Diet. I don't know if you have heard of it. Some people have and some have not. I'm trying to understand how popular this diet is so far. But I am on day 3, and the first 2 days, I'll be really honest with you, I sort of lost a little bit my will to live, as the saying goes, and I found a little bit tricky, and I wasn't feeling that well. So I'm now actually on day 3. So I feel better in a position to talk about it. I'm making this video, as I said, because my experience on the Metabolic Balance Diet, because I found on YouTube so far that there's quite a lot of people who are experts, say in nutrition, and I found that there was quite not so much user experience about this diet. There's one girl, bless her, who was doing a great job doing like a vlog style about her experience being on Metabolic Balance Diet. So she was talking about like, okay, this is how I feel day 1, day 2, day 3. And by the time she got to day 4 or 5 or something like that, she just sort of disappeared off Facebook kind of. So there's also something to be said for, if I was to start doing this, I wanted to try to be consistent. And that also follows with the Metabolic Balance Diet, is because you have to be consistent and you have to be very strict about your approach to it and the commitment that it takes. So where should I start? Really, I think I'll just tell you maybe about how I found out about it. I've tried so many different diets. I'm basically a stay-at-home mom. I'm living in the Middle East right now, and I'm originally from the US and have spent time also in the UK. And through, I would say probably my issues started with weight after having children. Okay, so I am a stay-at-home mom, and you know, people could judge me for this or not, but like my kids are not small anymore. They're actually, my elder one is 12 and a half, and my younger one is 3.5 years behind that. He's age 8. And so I'm not working and so much as like what you would call full-time earning job. And my problems started with having the kids, because like having my body bounce back from that. But then my issues also started because this is kind of for anyone who's a stay-at-home worker or just stay-at-home person. What happens is it's very easy for you to go into your kitchen and just eat. For me, also, there's the emotional eating factor. So say if there's any kind of restriction or any issues or stress or tension, I would find that I would sort of go in the kitchen and have a food or a drink kind of break to take my mind off of things. And this has started to take a toll on my weight and my well-being, because, you know, after a while, you know, you're not, it just takes a toll basically. So I've tried lots of diets. I've had a list here, and I would probably like to do a whole episode on just all the diets that I have tried over the years. I think I've tried pretty much every one there is to try. And if I have had success with any of them, what would often happen would be I would have success and then it would just bounce back again. Okay, like it would come back. And as I say, it's not because for any other reason that like maybe I felt like maybe I'd lose some weight and I felt like, okay, now I've got this leeway. I've got some leeway now. I can start eating again like I did before. And so anyway, the yo-yo dieting that they call it. And there, you know, there's so many I could list here. I've tried the Dukan diet. I've tried vegan. I've tried Freely the Banana Girl, being a fruitarian. That put me in a really negative situation. I had way too much sugar in my bloodstream. So for anyone who follows that or tries that, it's not for everyone. It literally is based on your ability to process sugars. That's good for some people who are very active and whatnot. So steak and eggs diet, Cambridge, and Lighter Life. And there's another one here in the Middle East. I can't remember the name of it, but it's basically the same thing. It's where you have packets like replacement meals. So say soups, shakes instead of your meal or in replace of those. Let me think what else. I've written a list here. Basically the glycemic index diet I've tried as well. And I've also heard about, you know, the blood type diet. And then I've also tried a couple things with drawing blood to analyze it to see what you have intolerances with. And I will probably do an episode just on that as well, on my experiences and how the metabolic balance is different from those. So I have tried what I feel like is everything. And then I've also said to you that I have emotional eating issues because I do stay at home. And I'm not saying that everyone at home is doing this, but I'd say the potential is greater to want to, just easily go in the kitchen and have whatever you fancy because there's no one else there. Or I've often found that when I've been out and about for any reason, I don't think about food. I really just don't. It's something completely different. It doesn't cross my mind hardly at all. I can go hours without eating and not really think about it. But there's something about being at home that really triggers emotional eating for me, and has for a long time. But then, there's gives and takes for every single thing. And so I've made the choice to stay at home and be with my kids. Now I have a special, I would say a little bit different structure with raising my kids as that I actually manage my elder son with his work already. He started, I believe, his career early in his life. So I'm actually working with him, and I want to make another channel talking about that. But anyway, these are digressions or whatever, talking about how I am feeling so far in the Metabolic Balance Diet so far, day 3. So I don't know about doing a steady vlog, daily, because I don't know if I can commit to that, but as frequently as I can, I would like to, after this, try and start talking about what I'm feeling like doing metabolic balance. But the summary so far is that first of all, you cannot do this diet without a coach, okay? And another thing is I have studied coaching here in the UK and also here out in the Middle East. I've studied coaching and counseling and have used that in my work with managing my kids. And I have worked before at a school, counseling students and whatnot. But so this, and I have done one diet before in the UK, was called Lighter Life, where they combined a counseling session where you sit in a group with other people and talk about your emotional issues and then talk about how you're doing on your diet. So this is really the most coaching I've ever seen with a diet. And you cannot do this diet unless you get the coach. And you actually, like my coach, she's amazing so far. She's in the UK and she's given me a commitment letter that I have to sign saying I promise to follow commit to this diet basically. So there's that part. You have to first find the coach you're comfortable with, and that's either remotely or in your area. And you have to measure yourself. You have to, I went to our mall and got a full body fat analysis done, the ones that tell you where you are, where you should be. That's fine, but what they want is your measurements and your weight and your height and your age. And then you go and your coach will give you a list of specific blood values to go. So I went to a private lab here in the Middle East, in Dubai, where I live, and I paid for those myself because I'm not sure if insurance covered that, and basically got my blood values analyzed, and there's quite a few of them. And I had recently done this anyway because I'd been to see an endocrinologist and a rheumatologist recently, but the endocrinologist starting with because I was saying, look, I can't lose weight. Like no matter what I try to do nowadays, I cannot lose weight. And she did a body fat analysis. And then she sent me, she did the blood work, and I asked to test hormones and whatnot. But anyway, long story short, I did a fasting glucose test, and it came out in the wash that I definitely have the metabolic resistance. So insulin resistance, sorry. It's also known as metabolic, I think it's metabolic X, was that called what it's called? Metabolic B, I've seen it. Basically your insulin resistance, and the long and short of that, sorry if I sound like I'm not exactly with the terms on that, but you'll know what it is that you're on your way to becoming type 2 diabetic if you're not fully type 2 diabetic already. So I have the insulin resistance for sure. And so I had a lot of my blood work done, and there was things we wanted to try to get to the bottom of. So I'd had those done recently, and those are with the doctor, and I should get a copy. You should also get a copy of all your blood works, even if it's with the doctor. But on this occasion for metabolic balance, okay, so I had the blood work done, and then what you do is you submit that to your coach, and then they input it into the program at Metabolic Balance, which is in Germany. It's work done by a doctor. I think his name's Dr. Wolf. Fun fact is what his name is. And it's over 25 years of research, and they've made a database. They put in the data, and then they have some algorithms that compute exactly what you will need to eat every day for, they call it a 3-month plan. And they tell you literally to the gram what you will need to eat, how many grams. And they will tell you if you need to omit things from your diet because they're not good for you, or what you should be having. Okay, so in my particular case, it came out, and it sounds really trendy, but no wheat and dairy. There's no cow's milk allowed in my diet. So if I want to have the, say, cheese or yogurt, it has to be soy yogurt, or it has to be sheep's milk or buffalo. And we didn't test for goat because I wasn't necessarily so keen, and I should have added that, but maybe goat would have been added. And my son asked me, Mom, do they test for camel? Camel's milk, and no, they did not test for that, so I don't know. But you just basically follow what's on there. Wheat is not allowed. You're only allowed rye bread, like rye vitas or full 100% rye bread. And so some people can have cow's milk, and nobody can have wheat on this diet when they're doing it. They only allow you to have rye. So then, and they give you a list of their vegetables and salads you can have, fruits, proteins, and your carbs is coming from the rye bread, and you're basically your food groups. And then it tells you exactly how many grams you can eat in your meals, and they have a strict set of rules. I won't get into them all right now, but basically one of the main rules, and this is one of my big problems too, is you just eat your breakfast, your lunch, and your dinner, and you do not snack in between. And I mean, a lot of traditional people, say from the UK, will say, well, yes, of course, that's how we do it. I mean, I think they have their 11sies, your tea break, your biscuits and tea or whatever. But this one is really strict, allowing that you must allow 5 hours or maximum 7 in between meals. So, what was really helpful when I watched a girl on the YouTube talking about it, in the UK, she was having her breakfast at 8, her lunch at 1 o'clock, and her dinner at 6. So today I had it at 7. I'll have it 12. I like it earlier rather than later. That's more helpful for me. And then at, say 5 or 6, something like that. And you're not allowed to have any coffees or teas. It's literally zero, nothing but water in between your meals. And I actually asked if I could even chew gum to cure hunger pangs, and that is not even, gum is not even allowed. So, but before that's the diet comes in 4 phases. So I'm in phase 2 now. Phase 1 was a type of clearing out your system. And I had my coach advise that some people sail through it quite easily, and some people do not and feel quite like flu-like symptoms, and that is exactly what happened for me. I felt like it was pain. It was literally bodily pain. And then I reminded myself, well, what kind of pain do you want? Do you want to be later on in a hospital bed, or with a pump for insulin, or I don't know what kind of surgery, or do you want to take this pain where you're feeling like, you're feeling really rough, and it's painful, and you're in agony, and all you want to do is just relieve yourself, just have a drink or something to eat, and you cannot. So, but we all do fasting blood tests, whatever. This is like for 2 days straight, and as she said, it depends on how much sugar and carbs you're eating before you go on this. So you're supposed to eat like one type of food for 2 days. So all vegetables. You're also maybe allowed to have only potatoes or only rice for 2 days. And then you take something to clean your system out. And then after 2 days, you can now start on the program. And on the phase one, that was the cleansing part. And then phase 2, which I've started now, is where you start your actual diet, your 3 meals a day, and you're not allowed to cook with any oils or fats. So, I'm now on day 3 of the Metabolic Balance Diet, and I feel really energetic. And we also discussed with my coach about what I was going to do emotionally to ensure that I'm able to not snack between meals. And you have to replace that behavior with something else. So say if I have any tension, it's been boredom, stress, anger, restriction, any of these kinds of feelings is literally just, okay, I'm gonna have a cup of tea. I mean, there was times last week that, so my son was doing something, he was auditioning for something I found a little bit stressful. And I will talk about auditioning I want to make another channel talking about just what it's like to be a stay-at-home, Momager, basically, somebody who's managing your child. But I would basically went into the kitchen and I had a loaf of bread. I would go through, I would be really upset. That's it, fine. I'm going to go have a whole loaf of bread. Okay, I have a little bit of peanut butter with that. And I would polish off the whole entire loaf of bread. And that's like recreation, you know? And I'm not ashamed to say that because I'm sure lots of people do that. And then the more you do it, say if your blood sugar's out of whack, you'll continue to want to do more and more of that. So I'm actually feeling really energetic so far this morning. The first 2 days I could barely even drive. I was going to almost crash the car, and it's school holidays and I have to get the boys out of the house. And we went to the cinema yesterday, and they had their what they were eating and drinking, and I just had like a Perrier. I don't even know even fully if I should have sparkling water. I'm assuming that I can, but just plain water. And I was really so dizzy and feeling so unwell. I had to be in bed as much as possible, and I would kind of recommend that for anyone who's doing this diet. Just really know that the first 2 days, like, you should make it a weekend. If you have children, have somebody else look after the children. If you can, just stay in bed, because well, as my coach said, you might be okay with it, but if you're one of these people like me who felt like you were gonna, you know, it was really like flu-like symptoms, then just don't do anything. Just stay in bed and just chillax and try to sleep through the hunger pains, because it was pretty painful. So, and I won't lie about that. I don't want to sound like a wuss. And I know that there's other forms of pain out there in the world, but that was definitely my experience on it. So now day 3, I was able to eat. I had my breakfast so far, and now I've measured out my lunch, literally with the scales. I have a set of scales that are literally 12 years old, and I have measured out my meals for lunch, and then I have to arrange my dinner. So if I'm going to go out now, I've had my breakfast, so I'm going to go out, I'm going to take my lunch with me, and I can talk to you more about what you would eat as a typical day or whatnot. But I think that's enough for now. I'm hoping to be consistent in just reporting how I'm feeling, and I'm hoping this is helpful for anyone who is starting the Metabolic Balance Diet, doesn't know if they want to get involved with it, because it is an investment. It is not cheap. Or, you know, if it's just another diet. What happened with my family is they're like, yeah, right, sure, another diet. Yeah, right. You know, they didn't believe me. It's like the boy who cried wolf. Trying so many different diets, and then now I'm trying this one, and it's taking an investment. You have to dig in your pocket to do it. And they're just like, oh yeah. I mean, it was quoted in my family, like, I don't believe you, was what said to me. Like, I think this one will be the last one I will have to ever do. And the sentiment that came back to that was, I don't believe you. So let's see how we go. I hope you appreciate it. I'm just talking from my heart here, and I want to try to do more of these, and just speaking out to anyone who feels like this, anyone who stays at home and has these issues, whether you work from home or because you have to for any medical reason stay home, and anyone who does a lot of emotional eating, anyone who's got messed up metabolism from reasons before, like maybe they abused themselves in the past, trying different diets, just any inherited conditions, all these different ways that we get to where we get. But I know that I am not alone. There's a lot of people who are struggling with their weight. I want to get more into this in the future and help other people once I've achieved my goals, because there's no point until I can prove that I've done it for myself. So the best I can do is sort of just do a vlog style video, and I hope that at least you got something out of this. And I'll see you the next time I can record a video. I will be here. My name is Cindy, and I think I want to call my channel the Wellbeing Momager, because we need to make sure we have our well-being in whatever we're doing. Okay, signing off. I'll speak to you soon. Thanks.